Hey, what's up guys? This is Colby Cheese with another How Not to Win in League of Legends. In this game, we are up by 10 kills and 3 towers. There's absolutely no way that we can lose this game. Our Aurelia is super fed. Some people have great mechanical knowledge of the game. While they do, though, unfortunately, they make a lot of mistakes in other areas. At this point in the game, we just need to ward up their jungle area and then continue pushing in the lanes, stay as a group, and eventually we will win. There's no way they can come back from that kind of a deficit. Here we go, pushing into a fight that we probably should not be, but we are quite far ahead, so we can generally win this as long as we just bait him away from the tower. Instead, Malphite gets pushed into the tower range, and that's not good, so we lose him, and then Annie goes and puts a lot of damage down, and me, I know that it's a bad idea to die, but we're so far ahead, I was like, what the heck, I just want to get a kill anyways. This was a bad idea because I kind of baited the rest of my team to stay around for too long. We lose 4 people for only 1 death. Not a big deal, we're still ahead, no problem. They're not able to push a tower down from that, and Aurelia is pushing bottom, so we gave her a chance to take the tower. Since we died so fast, Aurelia is actually not able to take the tower and has to back a little bit early. A more ideal situation would we just keep them busy until Aurelia kills that bottom tower, don't dive, keep us all up, and then eventually we would take that top anyways. Now here we go, coming back in the lane. I'm going to go ahead and push down that top lane once again to try and get to the tower while Aurelia is pushing down bottom. Now that my lane is naturally pushing, I'm going to head towards the middle, and we should all group up there for another push and that lane so that we can have all 3 lanes pushing, and then we can eventually take either the bottom, middle, or top tower depending on the positioning of the enemy team. Instead, if you'll note here, look at the positioning of my team and see if you can spot what's wrong. My team decided to fold down bottom towards Aurelia since she was pushing that tower. However, they had already CV'd the area and noticed that all of the enemy team was on bottom, and then they split themselves off so that Annie was isolated, and Capon and Dikfu here are trying to chase down a Xin Zhao into the forest where they have no vision. At this point, there could be any number of things that go wrong, as we're about to see. Seeing this mistake by our team, the Alistar decides to engage and gets this Annie caught out of position. Our team ends up losing 3 people without killing any of them. I tried to salvage the situation as much as possible, and I end up killing 2 people. However, that makes it a 2-4. Not too bad, but at the same time, you definitely don't want to give the enemy team any kind of advantage if possible, as silly positioning mistakes will eventually cost you the game if you continue to make them. I have just respawned after that last fight, and my team decides to already begin pushing 4v5 against their turret. Not really a good idea, but they do end up getting a kill, and at this point they should back off now that they picked up the kill. There's absolutely no reason you should ever push a tower 4v4 against an Alistar and a Rammus. At this point, I have the foresight to see that my team is about to make a terrible mistake, so I go up top to do my best to push down the turret, and there we go. My team decides to get engaged upon, so rather than getting 1 good kill and backing off and pushing another lane, we end up losing 3 people, so that gives them another 2 kills ahead. At this point, no big deal. We're still ahead. There's no chance that they can win this game as long as we stop making these type of mistakes. So moving forward in the game, just a few more minutes, Annie gets caught out of position and dies, giving them another kill. No big deal, but unfortunately, the Vladimir is free pushing our top lane, and our middle is getting pushed as well. So we all need to back at this part and push down that top lane, push down that middle lane, get all 3 lanes pushing, and then we can go ahead and engage as a team once Annie respawns. Instead, the Aurelia decides to lead a 3v5 against the enemy team, and even I get baited into trying to salvage the situation, which nets the team another 3 kills. Okay, so now it's starting to look kind of bad. Now, we're not necessarily down or behind on towers, but the enemy team has now caught up, and it's not looking like we have an easy win anymore. Seeing that the situation is getting sour, I decide to put my game face on, rally the team by a couple of wards, and ward up the Baron area, and then eventually go for a Baron bait. We're actually able to pick off the Caitlyn, and so I pinged the team to go ahead and start a Baron bait. We have full vision of the area that the team would come from, so we'll know if they end up coming this way. My plan is to initiate a fight here, 5v4, and then push their tower or go ahead and pick up the Baron after we kill them. My plan is successful, and we're able to kill the enemy team and get Baron after all. Both Sruck and I go back to the base to buy, which is generally the accepted thing to do after you pick up a Baron. And the best thing that we would do is to all pick up a couple wards, continue warding up their jungle area, and then push down the lanes. Instead, a couple of the team decide to go ahead and do a fight, which is okay. We pick up 2 kills, and unfortunately they are able to pick off Annie, so there's no way we can actually push in safely. The best thing is, if you look at the minimap, we have 1 tower up top. That would be the safest one to kill. So if we all just began pushing that top lane and possibly even got our bottom lane snowballing also, that would be the perfect thing to do while we wait for the Annie to go up. All of our ults are down right now because of that fight, as far as globals and whatnot, so we do need to go ahead and just take their jungle and push those lanes until that Annie gets back and we can push as a team. Instead, the Aurelia once again decides to 3v5 at their tower and ends up netting them 4 extra kills. Not only that, but it takes a very long time for some of us to die, so they are able to push down 2 extra towers, and now they are doing extremely well, and this is starting to look really bad with the amount of mistakes that this Aurelia is making. If this Aurelia keeps on leading our team into bad fights like this, we'll eventually lose. Shortly after, the enemy team is able to push into our base, take an inhibitor and one of our base turrets. They do stay just a little bit too long, however, and we're able to pick a couple of them off. And then we push into their base, take their inhibitor tower, and then set up for a bait at the Baron area, since Baron is now up again. Placed a ward so that we can see when they're coming. All we need to do now is group up and wait for one of them to poke their head in so that we can insta-give them and win a team fight. Instead, the Annie decides to go ahead and go back to the base at full health and full mana. When we call her out on this, she makes the final game-ending mistake. And I'm going to pause it here. Can you see what is about to happen? This very moment in my head, while in the game, I had an "oh crap, we just lost the game" moment. It is now so painfully obvious that this Alistar is going to flash over and kill this Annie. I literally wanted to cry. While it was Annie that made the final game-losing mistake, overall, the constant diving in 3v5 that was led by this Aurelia was the actual factor of us losing the game. So my final point is that while you may win your lane and you may have good laning skills or mechanical knowledge of the game, but being a bad leader and leading your team into lose after lose after lose in the wrong situation and getting out of position is going to ultimately cost you the game. This is Colby Cheese. If you guys enjoyed the video and you want to see more analysis like this, definitely push that thumbs up button to let me know. Give me a comment and tell me your thoughts on the game as well. And I'll see you guys around for the next one. Peace out.